Today I'm going to take you through how to validate a text box against email address. Let's launch our Visual Studio. I have done a project already, so I want to continue from where I stopped the other time. So this is the name of the project. So the email address, we want to validate it so that when someone is entering email address and the format is wrong, the program will tell the person that the email address is invalid format. So to begin with, first of all, have to double click on the text box. We are double clicking on the text box because we want a situation whereby when the user is entering input into the text box, it will keep on updating the user. So let's double click here to use the text change event. So today we are going to do something we call regular expression. It is the regular expression we're going to use to do this. In doing that, we have to first of all import the regular expression class to our project. On the first line, I'll say import systems.text.regular expressions. So this means we are going to use regular expressions in our project. So to do that, in the text change event, first of all have to define the format of the email address. Let's first of all know how the email address looks like, the format of it. So every email address has, let's say, email address at gmail.com, example.yahoo.com. So the example is the first string. So looking at this, the first string has a format and then the kind of characters it takes. Then after that, at is constant in every email address. We use at. So example at yahoo.com. The example is a string of characters where you choose the character you want to use. But for the at, it's a must that it should be there. Then after that, we have a dot, which is also a must, and then the at yahoo.com, at gmail.com, the com2 is there. We have .org and the other ones. So let's define how the email address looks like. So we say the pattern of the email address. So in doing that, I have to create a variable to assign the format to it. So I say the let me use pattern as string, which is going to have the value of. Now in a string, the validation we are going to use, we want to begin from the right beginning, so we use this. Then after that, the characters we want to use for the email, we put them in square bracket. After putting them in the square bracket, what we are going to do is, what characters are we going to use? So we're going to use lower cases from A to Z, and then upper cases to from A to Z, and then the numbers we can also use from 0 to 9. The numbers we can also use dot, we can use hyphen, we can use underscore, we can use percentage, we can use the plus sign as well. So let's say we are starting from A to Z, that is the lower case, then the upper case to A to Z, then the numbers, it is 0 to 9. You see that? Now after this, we have to add some other characters which we will also need. One of them is the dot, the underscore, we also use the percentage, we use the plus, and then minus. Now after this, it means if we are using example at yahoo.com, this is the example. These things are the examples. These are the characters we can use. So we are defining the characters we can use for the first string of the email address. Now we come here, and after that we use at. So it is a must that at will be there. So to do that, you say plus at. So after the at, we still have another string, which is maybe at Yahoo, at Gmail, at Hotmail, at, yeah, a lot of them. So at what? So that one too, we have to define the characters that are being used in there. Those ones too, we know at that one too from anywhere. So from lower cases from A to Z, and then the upper cases from A to Z, and then the numbers to from 0 to 9. Then with that one too, there can be a dot and a hyphen. So let's add dot, let's add hyphen. Now after that, we also have the next part, which is .com. So the dot too is a must. So we can say dot. We have to use escape character. So this is the escape character to mean that this is the dot we're talking about. So the escape character will not be shown in the program. So it will not, but it will tell it that we need the dot instead. So plus dot. Then after getting your dot, but again, we have the .com, we have the .com, .org, and the rest. So that one too should have a format, and that one too, the format is going to be in a square bracket. So that one too, we are starting from A, lowercase a to lowercase z, then uppercase A to uppercase z. And with that one, we mostly see that there are no numbers. It ranges from uppercase to lowercase. So let us also define the number of characters that after the dot that comes, the number of characters, maybe .com, that is 3 characters, .org, that is 3 characters. So we can say define the number of characters that comes after the dot, at least 2. So it said 2, comma, so meaning 2 and above. 2 and above. It's left with the last thing, the $sign. The $sign is there to tell us that this is the end of the validation. That should be the end of it. This is the format. Take a very critical look at it, examine it very well, and know how to go by it. You can also do your own thing. Maybe you are taking input as a phone number, and a phone number you don't want it to include alphabet. You need only numeric. You can do that. Having done with this, we are going to use the regular expression. We have Regex, so we're going to use the Regex. So we are saying if, by using the conditional statement, if the Regex dot is match. The is match is a function that compares any input that will be entered into the text box with the pattern we have defined. So we say txt email dot text dot trim. Now it will compare this to what the pattern we created. So this, and then we say this. So if the Regex is matched, and then it is comparing the text box, the input, the text value of the text box with the pattern we created. If it matches, what should happen? I want to change the color of the text in the text box. So what am I going to do? I will just have to use the txt email dot 4 color should be assigned color. I should assign color to it, and the color, which color am I assigning? I am assigning let me use green, which means if it is correct. Now what if it is not correct? So let me do this and say else the same text box, which is the email, the foreground of it should have a color it should have a color of what? Red. Now let me save this. Let's run our program and see what we are getting. Okay, so this is what we have worked on. So you see we are getting red, 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 red. Now at, so red, red, red at what? Maybe gmail.com. See, it is 2 and above, so it has changed to this, so meaning everything is correct here. Now let's take the at and see we're having problem with it. Let's put the at, and then the green means it is correct. But this is not how we should just do it. We can add other we can use other method of validation. I'm using the changing the text color, but there's a control called error provider. So let's go back to our program to add error provider to the program so that we will use that one instead. Now if you look at your toolbox, you check, you see error provider, just drag and put it into your program. So this is the error provider. You can name it, you can also choose to leave it that way. I am leaving it that way. Now let's go back to our code. Let's come back to our code. Now we are saying that if it is wrong, now if it is wrong, adding something, the error provider have to make sure the error provider gives an error. So I have to make sure the error provider gives an error. So I'll say error provider. The name was error provider 1. So error provider 1 dot set error. Then the set error is taking 2 arguments, so 2 parameters. These parameters, the first one is the text box you want the error to appear on. So we are using txt email, comma. Then the second one is the message you are showing, maybe the error message. So I am saying invalid email, invalid email format. So this is how I want it to be. So if I run and it is giving me it's not in a good format, it will set an error, it will show me the error, and then if I hover my mouse on the error, it will write that invalid email format. Now let's also come here. If you do this and leave it like that, it means when you start doing it the first time you are doing it and then it gives error, even when the error is no more error, it will continue, the error will continue to be there. So let's come here and clear the error. We say if it is not error, everything should be cleared. So we are saying error provider 1 dot set error. So the text box again, which is txt email, the txt email. Then this time around we are going to clear whatever message. So we are going to clear the message. So we are saying we are going to use a string, the string class. So we say string dot empty. Now let's go back to the code and run again and see what we are going to get. So let's, as we start to type, we say me. So this is the error, meaning this is not the format. So just hover, you see invalid email format. Now let's continue. Me dot, still invalid email format. Me dot example at u.com, and the error is cleared, error is gone. So this is what we have done so far.